What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another weekly recap over here at HPT. You guys already know this week, another eventful, beautiful week, tons of trends, and a lot of good price action to go over. Dude, these markets have been so volatile. It's insane. Like, I mean, candles literally. Some of these candles are the range on these candles are over $1, $1.30, $1.50. So like it's so crazy because when you come up with a strategy, right, a clear way to get in and out of the market, the goal is to have a repeatable set of criteria. And when you're trading in a market like this, bro, with the volume is just intense, right? Like the purpose of this meeting is going to be to really focus on entries, like obviously entries, exits, trades, but the main goal is to help people enter the market. I find myself at times in markets like this, you can hesitate, right? You can overthink it, right? You could always find a reason not to pull the trigger, right? Patience is very important, but at the same time, right, you got to have that clear set of criteria to get you in the market, right? So that's the main purpose today. And obviously anybody that is here in person, a part of the platform, feel free to speak at any time, and any comments you want to say about the market, about trades you took. It's an open mic sesh, right? So we're just going to kick right off into it. Boom. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me? Darren, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And all right. So we're gonna dive into Monday, right? So let me see here. We got Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Okay. So the week started off right, coming up into the January 22nd. Okay. Here we go. So the price action that we had Monday, right? This right here. What I really loved about Monday was the 50-50 perspective, right? So on this day, I was looking for a setup, right? But just because, right, the 50 really guided me here. And this is going to be a story. You're going to hear this with every single trade I took this week, right? Like using that criteria, critical level, moving average, right? That's the 50 EMA, market structure, right? Price rallied in the morning and then we fell below open print. So initially, I'm looking for a short play here, right? This is almost criteria for me to take the market short. And if the 50 wasn't right here, I probably would have taken it. But you can see how buyers just push price right back above that 50, closing above it. At that point, I'm not taking the market short. I'm not. This is a sign of strength, and I don't want to fight it, right? So at this point, I dive into the 50-50 perspective, and I go, okay, if sellers don't show strength here, another thing is look at the candle, right? I just made a YouTube video on candlestick analysis, and the purpose of it, right, is when you're looking at an engulfing green candle like this, you have to be like, okay, do I really want to short this, right? Like, there's not an inch of a wick on top of it, right? So you have to be able to look at the candle and go, dude, is this a sign of strength for buyers, right? Do I want to enter the market short after this candle? And I don't know, some scenarios that does make sense. If the 50 wasn't right there, it would have. But closing above that 50 really kept me away from short plays. And once we pushed up into open print and then we consolidated above the 50, right here on this candle, right? I want to be very clear here. When this candle broke the top of this candle, I'm now in the market long. That is how I like to gauge my entries, right? Whether it's on the 2-minute, whether it's on the 5-minute, right? Obviously it changes at times, but in this scenario, that's all I needed to understand that sellers were weak at this level. And at this point, I'm willing to long the market targeting high of day, right? And it's crazy because when sellers lose here, you get this push. Boom. Dude, this trade felt so good. It was so unique. Like, it was like, I love trades like this because I used to be on the other end of them. I used to be the seller, right? And I used to be getting smoked right here. But being able to be like, no, selling is weak here. I'm willing to take the market long if we can crack above OP and that candle. And that's what I did. Took the market long, caught a beautiful little swing up in the high of day. Boom.
Yeah, I took that exact same trade as well.
The beehive.
One thing
Yeah. So on Darren's latest YouTube video, he actually also mentioned like looking at the higher time frames.
Yes.
And looking at what's going on like the hourly and the 30-minute.
Yes.
And I think during this exact trade, if you looked on the hourly, it looked like the green cloud was actually getting retested.
Yes.
So that also stopped me from going short on that thing. But I feel looking at the hourly actually paints such a clear picture of what's actually going on.
Yes. Absolutely. No, well, that's how you gauge the momentum, dude. I mean, the hour time frame is literally like one of our strongest tools. I mean, how could you like? That's another reason. I'm glad you brought that up, Rish. That's a solid other reason why I wasn't trying to short the market this day. Because look at the 1 hour. When the cloud is green, you really don't want to be shorting into it. I think we said that on the live on Friday, Darren. I was like, dude, I'm not going to log another losing trade talking about I traded against the 1 hour trend. It's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just not worth it anymore. But yeah. And you could see here, it's coming right out of a demand zone here on the larger time frame as well. So that was another thing that kind of helped me pull the trigger on that, right? That previous low right there. You could see we were getting that inverse head and shoulder, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Nice little pop. Took profit at high a day, and then sellers came in, boom, and that lined me up for the next trade, dude. And then literally it was the exact same way to the downside, right? And like this is one thing that I love about trading critical levels is it helps you, like you can literally, like, you use the level to paint the picture. And if buyers aren't holding, you can then short the market. I mean, it was another clear move down to low of day. I mean, does this look... I mean, how many times have we been in this long and then this happens? This isn't something you want to hold long through, right? This is a sign of weakness, and you can capitalize on those weaknesses. I mean, look, it closed right below the 50, stomping out the previous candle, right? That's an entry for me short, and then I'm going to put my stop right outside that cloud, and then you're going to follow the trend to the downside. And then it was literally, dude, it's just wild. It literally happened again, right? So, you know, and this is why the strategy is so gold, and like being able to execute it. I mean, this is another one, dude. Look at this trade right here. Let me get rid of that. What I really want to point out here is, like, I kept looking for a short play off the 50 right here, right? Because price is coming into the 50. And at this point in my mind, I'm like, okay, buyers cannot hold the highs, right? We're going to get that move down to end of day, right? End of day was way down here at, like, you know, what was this like? Was this 548, right? So it was looking like a beautiful short play to close the gap, right? So as price is coming back up into that 50, I'm looking for criteria to short the market, right? And I used to just get in short, right? And that's what we call predicting, right? The difference between predicting and reacting is criteria. You know what I'm saying? Like, having that criteria and being like, okay, you know, at what point am I getting in the market is really going to help you. And just being able to identify the strengths and the weaknesses of the sellers in this scenario really helped me, right? Because once this candle right here wiped out the top of this candle, at this point I'm like, okay, it's very highly probable we're going to see a move back up to high a day. And then boom. Just get that nice push.
Yeah, I like that long play a lot better.
This one.
Because we're testing, because, I mean, the long play earlier in the day, you know, we were targeting, that one. That was targeting, you know, high of day and previous day high, which, by the way, was right up there.
Yeah.
For those upside targets.
Yeah.
But I just felt like, you know, sellers attempted twice to bring price down to the zone from previous day, which on Friday, you know, we consolidated and made a little bit of a zone, you know, a demand zone that we were above. I thought we were going to retest that, which I was in a little bit of a bearish state of mind this day, but that all stopped after the second 10. You know, we faked out the low of day, and
right here.
Buyers just with strong candles just pushed back up. So at that point, it made sense that, you know, sellers they go search for the next zone, whether it was high of day or even higher than that. But it all depends on what criteria you need to make a long play.
Yeah.
I feel like that really was the play right there.
Yeah.
I didn't take that. I took some short plays. I don't know why I was stuck in mind trying to target for all these levels. But,
Yeah.
it's almost like a little bit of head and shoulders at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And you know, once, and it's so cool, like, once just being in that moment where you're like, okay, you know, I like right here, right? I was in short right here, and I'm like, okay, what do I need to see a move down to end of day, right? And then once this candle wiped this out, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to hold through that. And then, you know, started to push, and then you know, using that 50, bro, has been very, very effective for me. It's wild. Like that 50, using the 50 in the cloud, in the critical levels, obviously, it's a game changer. Like when you're using those properly, it's very effective. But that was Monday. Tuesday, you can see this previous day high level. I'm going to keep the 1 hour right up over here so that we can, you know, reference that. You're going to see this zone, this previous day high zone was a perfect break and retest criteria right here on the 1 hour. I mean, this is just disgusting. So this is what the market looked like on the right hand side on Tuesday. So my bullish scenario was buyers were going to hold that previous PDH. Then we had end of day, right? Where was she? Right here.
End of day is crucial this day.
Yeah. End of day right here, 55465. So this is, I just made a video called identifying the sweet spot, right? This is what I call the sweet spot. Bam. Right here. This area is going to paint a picture for you, right? You got PDH, or you got previous PDH, and you have end of day, and then you have PDH above it, right? So we had a lot of levels right here. So going into the day, right? It's my goal to understand who's in control of these levels, right? So you're gonna notice here. Hold on. There was a reason. Okay, and now look at, so this was my upside target. Right, and this is why, once again, that 1 hour is so important, right? Because that upside target kept me from longs right here in the morning, right? So check it out. We have the 1 hour looks like this. Look how clean this looks, dude. So this is what the 1 hour looks like, right? We have this 554 level. We have end of day, and then we have 55643. Look at how price reacted to these levels of structure. It's disgusting, bro. I mean, look at this. It literally tagged it perfectly. Right here in the morning, we rip up, we consolidate. I wanted to long this, but couldn't get my hands around it. And I just didn't like how close the upside target was. And it kind of just got away from me. Then we fall into open print, right? So now at this point, I'm going, okay, yeah, buyers couldn't hold. But I'm not ready to short the market. I put specifically in my pre-market plan, I cannot short this until sellers find acceptance below the sweet spot, right? Because I'm not going to short this bullish break and retest on the 1 hour. And then this candle came in, boom. And then this candle came in, boom. And then once these two candles came in, I'm going in my mind, I'm like, dude, sellers are weak. High of day is extremely probable. Where can I get in long? Right, so this is on this candle when we came down and tagged previous day high right there. I was in the market long with a stop below the 50. So even in these volatile markets, bro, I think we're doing a really good job of finding setups with low risk. And I think that's why I didn't take the morning setup too. Is like, you know, if your risk isn't there, dude, the trade ain't there, right? So this trade felt really good. It felt very similar to Monday's long. In the morning, and it caught a really nice move up here to the highs and above, where I took my full position, my SPX position out, and I locked that in. Darren, I know you traded this too. Break me down on your analysis.
Yeah, I was looking at exactly the same sweet spot that you have,
Yeah.
and that was actually my upside target on Monday. So that exact zone extended back to Monday, and that's kind of where we saw that selling come in on Monday. And for the exact same reason, once we made it above that, that's where I was looking to take longs. And the best thing was that it was coupled with beautifully.
Oh, you can't beat that, dude.
And so, you know, I did something that I rarely do, and I entered on that. I entered on that first green candle out of end of day.
Right here.
It's just like,
what a stud.
I got a super early entry, and it's just I believed so much that that was a critical level, and
Yeah.
if it was broken, I was like, cool, I'll get out because I know that buyers are not there, and so it just made so much sense to me, and I knew exactly where I would stop out if the trade moved against me,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, that's the definition of putting on risk.
Yeah.
You have to know where you're going to stop out, and I had great upside targets, right there at high of day. And so I took that trade long, and I mean, the way we ripped up like that was incredible.
Didn't it?
And I took profits on the way up, and then as soon as we snapped below the cloud with that huge red candle, that's where I stopped out. And I was only stopping out of my last three contracts at that point. So,
bro.
So I think I gave back a little bit on that trade, but I'm really happy with my entry and how I took profits, and overall, it was phenomenal trade, especially for these choppy conditions that we've been seeing early in the morning, just going back and forth. These aren't easy.
No.
These are not like necessarily slam dunk trades, just because there's not much movement back and forth. But we have clouds, and we can use these clouds. They always come with a little bit of movement from one way or another, and this is where you have to take profits early and lock in that equation.
Yeah. Bro, the price action, like you said, bro, this is literally like $2 move off previous day high, bro. That was one thing I want to point out here, Darren, is your conviction on that entry. I applaud, and I really like seeing you view the market that way. I truly believe there's in the beginning, right? Like when you're becoming systematic, it's very important to stick to a certain set of criteria. But I also believe, that you reach a point as a trader where you're just in flow state like no other, and you're seeing something happen, and you're like, dude, I'm gonna put risk on the table right here, and it paid off. I mean, dude, it was a beautiful move off a break and retest, 1 hour time frame. The price action, like you said, it was incredible, bro. It was just ripping. I had no drawdown on this trade. Like it was just like. Like just straight printing, bro. I was just like, dude, this is nuts. And
I really think the most important thing for a trade is knowing where your analysis is proven incorrect and where you will stop out if it moves against you. And if you have that, then then you can't be hurt. So now you're just open to possibilities.
Yes.
And that's what I was thinking when I put on this trade. Even though I rarely long a red cloud.
Yeah.
But this was an exception.
Yeah. It's straight flow state.
Yep.
That was the only trade I took that day. That's another thing I've been doing is I only trade when my edge is present. Like literally, I couldn't really see anything else that day. I definitely did well enough on that trade to feel good to walk away from the market, and it felt really good being in control of that. Right, that's one thing me and Darren were just talking about. Like to become a good trader, you can't always be vulnerable. You can't always have to put on a trade. You have to be able to walk away at times, especially after you lock in a phenomenal trade. Right, like it's like what we were talking about on the live. Right, like I'm gonna make $1,000 today. No, I'm gonna make what the market presents me. That might be $5,000. That might be, $100. I don't know, right? Like, there's really not a number on it. You got to be at the point where you just let the market tell you. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, your boy traded Qs, and this was phenomenal. I want to break this down. I was really proud of this trade. It felt very uncomfortable, and we're gonna get into why. So first things first, QQQ was opening. Look at where it was opening, bro. You see this level right here, 47403. It was this low, right, from previous Friday. Open print was that level. So just way below, massive gap down, right? And sometimes in your mind you're just addicted to the gap fill play. Well, in this scenario, we sold off so much. I was like, dude, if we get continued selling, I have a bearish target of 46840, which I got directly from the 4 hour time frame. Let's see if we can pull that up real quick. So, we're dating way back over here. And in my mind, just like if this was a 5-minute chart, I'm going, if this level snaps, my first target's going to be, my bad. If this blue line snaps, my first target's going to be 46840. Like there's nothing in between it, right? There literally was nothing. So in the morning, we sold off really fast. I couldn't really find an entry. And you know, I'm just letting the cloud do its work here. I'm not forcing anything. I'm just being patient. And then price comes up into the cloud. I don't enter here, right? But price rejects, then comes right up. And what I'm doing is looking for a green candle to base my risk on. This is very important. Todd calls it the RBI, the GBI, red bar, green bar, ignored, right? So what you're doing is identifying risk, and you're identifying buyers losing. That's what I love about it. When you're getting these green candles here and then they're being ignored, that's just telling you that buyers tried and failed. That's what I want to see, right? So look, I ended up getting in the market right here below this red candle. It's so crazy. I used to be such a reversal trader. Now I'm the exact opposite. Like I will short this, right? Like this was already a $4 move away from the open, and I'm like, dude, like this price action's $4 already, and I'm like, dude, if this candle wipes out the bottom of this, I'm just gotta short. That's the rule, and that's what I did. I mean, price rejected the cloud. It broke below this 470.14 level. I got in the market short, targeting 468.40, and now let's go back to the green candle being risk. So what I do here is I go, okay, I'm gonna short when we crack the bottom of it, but my stop's gonna be above it, right? So this is what, you know, because sometimes when you're selling off like this, you might not want to marry the idea of my stops outside the cloud, right? Because that's like $2 away, right? So you got to find another way to identify risk, and I find this to be very effective, is identify the green candle, right, or the opposing side, and use the top of that for your risk, right? So that's where I got in short, and then you could see we came up, we retested it, and then we got a really nice sell-off down to my target where I captured this little nice move down here. It felt really good. I was really proud of this trade because it felt very uncomfortable shorting the market after that large of a move in the morning. But the criteria was there, so I just acted on it.
I love what you said about finding alternative ways to place your risk.
Yes.
That was the reason I didn't get in this trade, is because I just always was envisioning in my mind that there was going to be a pullback, and there never was.
Yeah.
But I love that you found another way to identify risk. Now, obviously, have to do that when you're getting in a trade, but to use those green bar ignores on the way down.
Bro, Darren, those green bar ignores and red bar ignores, dude, they've helped me so much with entries lately, especially on days like this. Because I mean, the market will get away from you, and it's like you want to get in, but you can't. Like I'll show you my second trade. That was my first trade, and then my second trade was right here on SPY. Right, so to paint this picture, I'll whip out that 1 hour again, and this was just let me see here. So you're gonna see here on the cloud, right? This was the candle. This was the 1 hour candle that I was getting ready to either short. I wasn't gonna long this day. I just made it up in my mind because I didn't like the 1 hour time frame for longs. And once again, we're going to reference that 1 hour, dude. It's so important to look at this because when the 1 hour looks like this, right, I'm not longing. There's nothing in me that can make me long this. The price is hugging the 9, right? The cloud is red, right? There's really not a lot. Unless we can get above the 50 and I can get a quick scalp, I'm not ready for a long play. But then price came up. I was waiting for it to play with the 50. It couldn't. And then it fell off here, and then once again I get my green bars to identify the risk, where I then take the market short. Once this green bar, and dude, I'm playing into low of day right here, right? And this is a big, like, this is another thing to point out, right? Like, I used to be, I don't want to play into low of day. What if that buyer comes back? And I'm like, dude, look at the 1 hour. I had a downside target of, I think it was right here. Yeah, 540.25, right? So in my mind, I'm like, dude, if I get weakness here, I'm going to short into long of day or low of day to get that breakout below. And it was a large move. SPX, I think, had a little a different level to the downside. But I caught this on SPX. It was a phenomenal move towards the end of the day. I was very, very happy with this trade.
It's literally stopped me from taking so many fake outs looking at the 1 hour before entering. Like, so many fake outs can be prevented if you understand what's happening on the 1 hour.
Yes. It's a game changer, Reese. It's a game changer, that 1 hour, dude.
It has been. I used to like only look at it like
vaguely.
Not even. I just didn't take it seriously, and then I would get faked out so many times.
Yeah, the 1 hour is going to guide you. And that, dude, Reese, the same thing happened to me, dude. I literally, in my journal, I went through I had 1 month where I had 18 red days. Dude, it was like literally tons of red days. I'm like, what do all of these have in common? I was trading against the 1 hour trend. I was literally trading against the 1 hour, and I made a rule. I was like, dude, I'm never going to trade against it again. I don't care. And, and then that just sparked into, like, it's so important. But yeah, and then we're going to go into the next day. This was personally one of the best days I've had all year. This day was just hands down, just like, I was just in such flow state. It was insane. It was like, once again, you have the sweet spot, you have PDL, you have end of day, and I'm looking here. Once again, I'm referencing that 1 hour, and the 1 hour was just really bearish to me. We had a gap below, but more importantly, I'm just playing the criteria, right? We have open print, which lined directly up with end of day. We had PDL, and we get the rip into it. We get the rejection. I knew if buyers lost here, it was very highly probable of a move to the downside. This candle wipes out this candle, and I'm going to put my stop right outside that cloud. And we caught a really nice move down to the downside here, where I scalped my exit on this trade. I think it was like right around this candle. And the biggest thing I want to point out here is we were coming into SPX play. Had a different level to the downside, right? You can see gap below, right? You see this yellow line. So that was my target to the downside. Now we're playing into that, right? And once price ripped into this, look at the buying we got here, right? It literally just popped out, right? And at this point, I'm like, okay, this looks very bullish the way buyers came out of this, but my criteria is just not there yet, right? So I stay patient and I allow price to come back up to previous day low, and we close above the 50, right? So now price comes down and blows out the top of this candle, this red candle, once again, the RBI. So now what I'm doing is I go, I'm not getting in this until I see sellers try, right? So they try right here. And now we have open print right here, where I used to be like, oh, I don't want to long into it for whatever reason. But now I'm going, dude, if I get strength into open print, I'm in this long, right? So this candle breaks the top of this one. My stop's below the red candle. And we caught a nasty move here all the way up to 54368. This move right here was just, it felt so good. It was like sellers lost it, buyers came in. And notice here on SPX, once we got above that 50 EMA, I was like, dude, this thing's gonna soar today. So we caught that beautiful move up there, and then the second entry on this was right on this candle, right? This is, it's so crazy, right? Because when price is ripping into a level of interest, and you're just like, okay, I'm really bullish on the day at this point. For multiple reasons. We have upside targets like no other. I need to get back in this, right? So ended up getting back in the market, playing into high of day, where we just bursted above it and then ripped up, and then I literally exited this trade at like almost the perfect spot. I had to go take care of some stuff with my 5-year-old, and then I was done for the day. But those trades right there, dude, it felt so good just using that criteria this day. It was just no other. Oh, hold on. Yeah, and then it was crazy to me because look at how the market completely reversed and ended up selling off like crazy. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I wasn't in front of my screens this day, unfortunately, but I mean, it's just beautiful price action. I love the EMA cross.
Yeah,
beautiful. Taking out open print
Yeah.
and just clearing to the upside.
I love, and another thing I've been doing, guys, is in my journal, I capture this, and I highly recommend everyone does this. So when you journal your trade,